Guys, when Gani finds out what I did, this might be my last stream. Welcome everyone to another episode of PocketBased, episode 25, I think. PocketBased is the premier dev channel for building apps fast using fresh and streamlined approaches. On this channel, I show you how to ship apps fast, starting from knowing nothing. You don't even have to have a scrap of code. We talk through everything. We do deep dives into coding. You can watch me live as I create and ship new apps, interview other makers, and if you feel good about it, you can even contribute to our open source projects. They call me Cap. I am the creator of two open source projects, PocketHost and PocketPages. I made PocketHost so I could have a place to host all of my apps and not have to set everything up over and over. And I made PocketPages so I could use an ultra-modern web stack that pays homage to old-school server-side pages. We're working on shipping a real-time, multiplayer, open-source game named Kingdom. You can playtest Kingdom with me live on stream, and you can also contribute to the open-source GitHub repo. It's a great way to learn all about the Pocket stack and cut your teeth on a real project. Don't forget about our Discord community. We have over 1,500 members from all walks of life and experience levels. If you're ever on Discord, stop in and say hi. We'll make you feel right at home. If you want to skip the line and learning curve and want to start making and shipping apps quickly, check out the paid wing of PocketHost at pockethost.io. Members get access to premium tools, coaching, and content. A few lifetime subs are still available. In this very special episode, we conclude our deep dive into the PocketBase JS SDK adapted for the PocketBase JSVM. I know that's a mouthful, but what it means is programming PocketBase just got a whole lot easier. Are you ready? Let's get into it. Let's start with a little top-down review here. It's been 1 month since I started streaming and since I put up the PocketHost hard paywall, and we've gotten 42 signups. I'm not super good with the lemon squeezy dashboard, but from what I can tell, if I choose the period January 1st to January 31st, it shows me that I brought in $9,500 the previous period, which I think includes the Black Friday push that we did. This one is the one that's really interesting to me. New subscriptions. We've gotten 44 new subscriptions this month. Revenue this month, or last month, I guess, from subscription renewals was $1,000. But then this one over here says monthly recurring revenue, and it's up $105 from the previous period. I'm not sure what to make of these metrics exactly, except that maybe PocketHost grew by $100 a month last month, so call that $1,000 a year. I thought we were getting more like 5 signups a day, which would be like 150 new subscriptions, so this is quite a bit less growth than I thought we were getting. But I'm not super counting on making a living from PocketHost. I'm more just wanting to make sure that I can keep the lights on and continue building the service. I want to move everything over to Fly, and I want to only support basically the latest version of PocketBase on the new Pocker network. So as you can see, we have a bunch of machines here. Cost us about $56 in bandwidth and machine allocations. So there are some costs here, but I think we have enough revenue to move forward with Pocker and continue building that out. But what I'm really hoping to do with this stream, my strategy for 2025 is to build a community of makers who don't have a lot of code established, like legacy code, and who haven't really found religion yet, so they haven't settled on a framework. I want to introduce them to the Pocket stack, and part of the Pocket stack is PocketHost. I want PocketHost to be the flagship so that when you're a PocketHost subscriber, you have access to this larger community as well. Training videos, maybe live streams, other things like that. And that's all for the developer community, which I love, but I also want to dog food this whole process by leading the way with app creation. I want to make first-class apps that are not just all of us developers circulating around among ourselves trading tools. So in the next couple weeks, I'm going to add a monetization feature to Kingdom and continue developing all of the tech stack that's powering Kingdom. Then we'll move on to another app. I'll launch a bunch of different apps this year to see if any of them hit. One of the things I'll need for Kingdom is user accounts. and I'd like to build those user accounts using PocketPages, this guy here posted in the PocketPages forum and asked, is there any trick to upgrading auth logic? And I've been going back and forth with him, but this is what motivated me to go into PocketPages and write an auth starter kit. And this auth starter kit is what made me realize that we need to port the JS SDK because some of these functions are not exposed to the PocketBased JSVM. So the easiest way to get to them is to port the JSDK. And I like that idea anyway, because then the web API's reference works for everybody. And this is what people understand the best. The examples are the best in here. The JSVM API is not as well documented, even though there's a lot of documentation here. There's a lot left unanswered as well. And it's a very kludgy API when you look at stuff like this, where you have to say record.get to access a field. It doesn't just come back in a normal JavaScript object. There are just a lot of cases where when it comes to fetching and storing data, being able to use the JS SDK would actually be ideal. So want of auth in Kingdom sent us into PocketPages. Want of features in PocketPages sent us into the JS SDK. And now that we're in here and we've achieved the hello world that we wanted to, we're ready to turn our attention to publishing this as a separate package. We went through by hand and removed all of the async stuff from this entire library, and it's working now. I'm going to maintain this as a fork, but I'm going to rename the package so we can publish it separately. So I'm going to call it PocketBase JS SDK JSVM, and we'll call it PocketBase JavaScript SDK for JSVM. Here, we're going to take some credit by adding us to the authors. And if Cloud is correct, we should be able to add a source directive so that it can reference source directly, which means we'll have to ship the source directly. I guess that's not strictly necessary, though. We could just go with the ES modules. We should probably do that. So let's go back to rollup config, and we want to restore the ES bundle. We'll go ahead and restore all of this. I don't really see why not. In fact, a lot of this is just formatting. So the only one we'll end up removing is the deprecated browser module. Let's leave the rest of this in here. We'll save without formatting just so it stays clean. We'll go ahead and rebuild everything. And since we are at a good save point, I'm going to remove this JSVM branch, and I'm renaming this one to JSVM. So we are going to maintain a JSVM branch. We will delete the JSVM2 branch after we merge it into JSVM. So we're going to squash all these works in progress, and we're going to call this initial JSVM implementation. So we have a nice, clean commit history on this JSVM branch. We'll publish the JSVM branch. Good. We can now delete the JSVM2 branch. Great. So we're going to maintain our master branch and our JSVM branch, but we're going to publish it as a separate package. Before we publish it as a separate package, we're going to test it locally. Let's add a little README update here. And I think for versioning, I'm going to use something that I've presented to the community right here called upstream version anchoring. Upstream version anchoring is a way to introduce a patch multiplier so that when the upstream version changes, you can update with their changes and the versions match, relatively speaking, but we use an extra patch suffix to keep track of our changes. So let me explain. You choose some number of digits that you would like to allow for their patch. 2 digits is probably good. So 25.1 would become 25.10, and then you would add our patch update suffix 001. So this way, if, for example, Ghani updated to version 25.42 like that, it would still be 25.42001, and we would update our patches 002, 003, 004, and you can see that semantic versioning stays compatible. So this is how we're going to make this work. And we're going to grab this URL and say this is published on NPM using upstream version anchoring. Just like that. I'm trying to make some notes about what I've changed. I removed all async support. I removed real time. I removed the async auth store. I changed the way fetch works. I removed deprecated code. Oh, I removed auto cancellation. That's actually true. Okay, I think that's about it. So we should add a little change log here. Okay, there's the change log. Good, and I'll say, sure, update change log, docs, update README with JSVM support. Keep a nice clean commit history here. And then we updated the package JSON version and package name. So we'll push those. Now let's do npm publish, see what happens. Good, so it seems that it published it. Let's go find out. So it's called PocketBase JS SDK JSVM. And there it is. Notice this is a fork of the original PocketBase JS SDK. It's maintained by Ben Alfrey. Yeah. Oh, the repository's wrong. Let's fix that in the next version here. So this is Ben Alfrey PocketBase JS SDK is what it's called. I don't see where it's getting the README file, but we'll go ahead and add a couple extra keywords and we'll redirect to the correct repository. Let's make sure this is the correct repository. Yes, it is. And we'll add the change sets CLI to package JSON so that we can use change sets to manage everything because I like change set. And for this patch, we're going to say updated package JSON repo URL and added change sets support. All right, let's take a look at what this added to the change log. Oh, I threw in an extra digit there. Ooh, it modified a lot in here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and let it reformat this thing. And we will call this release. Oh, well, first of all, I wanna make sure I add a tag here. I don't know if he tags his releases, but we're gonna tag him. So we'll add the tag right there at JSVM. Yeah, I don't actually see any tags in his releases, but that's okay. And now we're gonna tag this version as well. And we're gonna go change set publish. And we're gonna publish the very next version of this thing, which I wonder if it's gonna let me. Okay, it says it did, but, oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, and I didn't mess up the number of digits in package.json, just in the changelog. So that's good. So now that this has been published, we can go bun link, and it's linked it, and then we can go into PocketPages here, and we can say bun add PocketBase JS SDK JSVM, and it should add that one, and then we can say bun link to here, and that should work. So now we've linked to our local copy of the JSVM and we can mess with it a bunch. The JSVM JS SDK. We can mess with it a bunch. Now we got a bunch of stuff going on here in PocketPages, things that we've modified, and I think we should take a moment to clean up some of this. So let's look through the changes we've made. What's going on here in wrapper? We've added headers and cookies into right. So let's stage that. And then we'll also stage the cookie import. We're going to save this set auth from header or cookie for later. I want to make a nice clean commit. We add header and cookie support separately. All right, now let's go back and review this. So in the page request and the page response, we've added header and cookie. In the wrapper, we've added support for those. And then down here in package.json, we had to add support for the cookie there as well, the cookie package. Right, so let's go here into docs and let's go find the request MD and let's ask Cloud to update this. I added cookie and header support from, I'm going to say, wrapper TS and index TS, which was this one right here. Okay, please update the docs. Please update request MD. All right, Cloud usually does pretty good at this, so I let it. Header function that returns the value from the specified request header, function that returns the value from the specified cookie. So I'll accept that. And then working with headers and cookies. Yep, that looks good. So we will update request MD. Then we're going to go and say, please update response MD accordingly. We'll wait for Cloud to finish. Looks like it added a bunch of stuff here. That doesn't look right. Let's go back and see what the signature is here. Header in response only sets a header, but is that right? Maybe it should get a header as well. I think actually that Cloud is right here, that header and cookie should both be able to get or set on the response. Let's see how that plays out though. This one's already worked. Request header, set cookie. Let's just say if the value is undefined. Yeah, okay, let's try it this way. If the value is undefined, return the, maybe we want, I don't like this. I don't like trying to read response headers. I think cookies are write only. I think it can work to read the response headers, but the cookies need to be write only. So that's okay. We'll stage that little change. Okay, so in response MD here, yes, it's true. You can get or set a response header. I will accept all of that. Set a header, get a header. Cookie options is optional. Yes, that's right. Okay, all of this feels good as well. So we will stage that. And then we're going to add a change set here. The feature cookie and header support in request and response objects. We'll add it like that. We'll stage that change set name and we'll steal the commit message like so. And I'm going back here to the PocketPages docs, wherever I put them. And let's see if it's in here. Yep, header and cookie are in here now. I'm going to add a little note here for this guy to let him know I added that support. Something's weird about the table of contents here. It doesn't seem to be in alphabetical order. Maybe it is. All right, it is. S comes after Q. Cool. Continuing on, let's see what else we can commit. Here's just a type clarification for the request body, which I think actually I did see that in here. So we'll just manually clarify what body returns and update that. I'm not even gonna put this in a change set. It's just a little chore. Clarify body return type. Okay, so that's done. Now this is a fix right here where body wasn't included in there. Oh, hold on. Maybe this last commit. Let me undo this last commit. Maybe this is oh yeah, I added it there. Oh no, this is something else. Right. Let's put this in. What I did is I hoisted into the pages request context, I hoisted a body tag in there. So let me stage that and let's go find the docs for it. How do I want to do this? There's actually a few functions here that are not really covered well in the docs. I see that we've got echo, we've got params, we've got form data. We don't have body, we don't have auth. I think I'm going to ask Cloud to help me out here. I need one called body.md that covers middleware handler page context request.body. Let's see if it can do it for us. Sometimes Cloud surprises me. Let's see what it says. Raw request body, access the request body. Okay, raw request body. Correct. Please look at types.ts for clarification. So let's see if it catches on and fixes this, because it says raw request body and that's not really what this is. Basic usage, request.method, request.headers. I think I'm going to take out all these best practices and stuff. There, that seems good. And then inside the TOC, we will add body. All right, so this I consider a change. So we'll say feature support body in request object. Okay, we'll add that change set there, and then we'll add this feature, commit it. Good. We got that cleaned up. This happens a lot to me where I make a lot of little changes and then I cherry pick them out to try to keep the commit history clean. Oh, I see I forgot one thing. So let me go undo that last commit and add this in right here into the request context. I'm adding the body return type. Good. The rest of this is just create user, sign in user, that kind of stuff. So that's good. Global API, create user, create anonymous user. All right. The only other thing I want to add, and this is actually kind of a big deal, a big feature, is the cookie-based authentication. This is going to require a whole discussion, so this will be an interesting thing for you guys to see how I do it, how I use Cloud to write a whole new section of documentation. It's kind of interesting. So let me show you what happens. We have this thing called set auth from header or cookie, meaning if PocketPages is called from either an authorization header or from a cookie, it will set the auth variable appropriately. Now, I'm going to add in the missing documentation for auth, and I think that we'll merge these together. I'm not adding any of these helper functions yet. Sign in user, create user. It's not time for that yet. But what I do want is in the context API, or is it global? No, it's only in the context API, right? So we want to create one here called auth. And then somewhere in here, maybe under data, we'll rename this data and security. And we're going to have a big conversation in docs called authentication. So we're going to create this one down here. And right in here is where we're going to really leverage Cloud. I need some authentication docs that discuss the following points. The PocketBased JS SDK, REST API use JWT exclusively. They use the authorization header without a bearer prefix. PocketPages will look for this header and automatically populate request.auth in the page request context. Then the key point here is that right here in auth.ts, set auth from header or cookie. Set auth from header or cookie. Yeah, hold on here. So I'm going to say C auth.ts and wrapper.ts. I need some authentication docs to discuss the following point. Okay, so if the header is present, it'll use it. If a cookie named pbauth is present, it will use that as well, right? Isn't that what it does? The header takes priority. PocketPages will not set the cookie. It only reads it if present. PocketPages will not automatically set the cookie. Okay, I think those are the notes we want. Let's see how Cloud does with that. It's not really doing super good here. Yeah, so I'm going to say please review. I'm going to say please review. I'll just pick one. Caching MD and please review caching MD and auth.ts and wrapper.ts. Then create authentication MD docs that discuss the following. Okay, I think this will be a better outcome. There we go. Now it knows what to do. Cloud just took a little convincing. It's normal, it's okay. All right, let's see. Authentication in PocketPages. Learn how PocketPages handles authentication through JWT tokens and cookies. Okay, authentication. PocketPages provides seamless integration with PocketBase's authentication system, supporting both header-based and cookie-based authentication methods. Okay, authentication flow. PocketPages automatically checks for authentication tokens in this order: authorization header, pbauth, cookie fallback. When a token is found, PocketPages automatically populates the request.auth context with the authenticated user's information. Header-based authentication. The authentication header is the primary method of authentication. Yep, okay, right. Unlike a typical, PocketBase does not require a bearer prefix. If present, PocketPages will automatically strip the bearer prefix. Cookie-based authentication. It also supports PBAuth cookie, right? Okay, it only reads the cookie. It does not automatically set or manage this cookie. Your application code is responsible for setting the cookie after successful authentication, removing the cookie during logout, and managing the cookie expiration. Yeah, that's good. Checking authentication status. In your templates, you can check request.auth. Yep. Yeah, this is actually a get email like that. And let me jump into the JSVM again and get the request info.auth. Yeah, auth is a core record. Okay, example login flow, EJS, script handle login, API collections, users auth with password, document cookie. Okay, yeah, I think I will let this be. I don't want any of those links. I'm not going to worry about cookie security right now. Auth variable is type core record as documented here. Just going to add a little update for it. You may have added too much information here. Is email? It hallucinated that. Is verified one? Verified is super user? Is super user is? Okay, the only one that's not is it's called email. Oh no, is there one called email? Oh, there is one called email. Returns the email record. Okay, cool. All right, well, it actually impressed me, corrected me. Okay, then I'm gonna tell Cloud, now I need an authMD to be completed, explain how that auth record works, and references authentication MD. Okay. I feel like Cloud's gonna do a good job here on this documentation. Or record instance. Yeah, I'm gonna link to this. The user's data. Seems good. It's probably a little overkill, but that's fine. PocketBase auth documentation. Is this a real link? Does this go somewhere? Okay, that does. Yep, context request, docs authentication. All right, this is good. I accept it. All right, so we now have, if we go back to the PocketPages docs, we have a new one here, or we should, called auth. Where is it? Context API is supposed to have auth in it. Where is it? TS context API auth. Are you not syncing? There we go. So we have auth. See authentication. Here's authentication. All right. And then I'm going to, let's see, I also added in the latest release. Hopefully this will get you a little farther. I'm still working on the starter kit with demos. Cool. So what do we got here? The table of contents, we got auth, we got authentic. So we did all of that stuff. That seems... These methods we're going to have to rework a little bit. I don't think it's wise to use JSVM for this. Sorry, I don't think it's wise to use JSVM for this. I think we should go through the REST API because it is so much more thorough. We're going to add a change set. This one, I'm going to bump the minor version because this is a pretty significant change. I don't know. It's a patch. Feature, handle, auth headers, and cookies. I guess that's all it is, really. Handle, auth headers, and cookies. There we go. I want to make a new branch for all this auth starter stuff. All the starter kit stuff. And we'll just whip this. Now I can go back to main and do a build chore, and I can push all this stuff up. You have divergent branches. How? I don't understand how I have divergent branches. Like, from where? It took me all that time just to clean up PocketPages enough to move forward with the JS SDK. So let's see if we can move forward in this feature branch. First, we'll merge everything into the feature branch, and then we're going to compare it with the main branch to see what all is different. Yeah, and we've got the whole starter kit that's different. Let's check in on our starter kit again. All right, so this is still logged in. Now, see here in application, we have this PBAuth cookie. So what we've been doing with the starter kit so far is this one right here, sign in user with password. This is the one that gets a new auth token and writes the cookie to the response. Now that part is fine. And what we need now to pull in the PocketBased client, stuff it in the global API, and we need to make sure that the URL is configurable. So let's look at global API again. I know for sure that I want host to be in pages config. And then the default for host is localhost 8090. I know I want that. And I know in the config docs here, I'm going to ask cloud, please add from types.ts config. Let's see if it can gather enough information to know what I want. A string that specifies the base URL for your, if this is used internally. Yeah, it did a good job for generating absolute URLs and handling. This is used internally to make REST API calls back into PocketBase, as is sometimes more convenient than using the PocketBase JSVM API. That's what we want it to say. Cool. Right, so we've updated config and types. Now we have to figure out how the hell do we get, so after the bootstrap, is this config ever exposed anywhere? So the PocketPages cache is there. Okay, where do we use that? Do we pop it up here? Well, anyway, here's how to do it. So let's say in the global API, we're gonna have, what should this be called? Maybe it should just be called PB. And we're gonna do an IIFE here where we say, let PB equals null. If PB, return PB. Otherwise, this is where we read config, and now we import this from PocketBase, JS SDK, JSVM. Let's see if it's strongly typed. Yeah, global import PocketBase in there to define the type definitions. Yeah, I think this is good. So the way we handled it, we added the type right there, and oh no, PB is just, is it a function? Yeah, let's make it a function that creates a PocketBase instance if needed. Cool, it added the PocketBase client right in there, and PocketPages still started up. Great, let's whip that too. All right, I think we are ready. Retest these functions. So let's take another look at our global functions here. Create user, create anonymous user. Okay, wait, and then we have this middleware stuff where we're doing sign in, sign out. So here it's setting a cookie, but that doesn't seem to be working. Let's look in log out and see what is happening there. It says it's signing out the user. Let's find out what it's really doing. Log out. It gave us a redirect. Now in the request, in the response headers, there is no PB auth. Set cookie PB auth path equals whatever. Oh, okay, that worked out. Yeah, now PB auth is empty. So that's fine. All right, so now we want to try a login here, but there's a little more to it because I remember something about listing auth methods. I mean, let's see what list auth methods does. Login. Let's go script server, and then we'll call PB collections users list auth methods, and then we will debug those methods. Let's see what happens when we do that. So we'll clear the logs down here. We'll refresh this page, and it says that we have none. So I'm curious if we just go straight to the URL, I wonder what it gives us. Yeah, it's giving us something different here. So let's debug this a little bit. I think we're going to do a raw HTTP send to see what we get from that. And from that raw HTTP send, we got res, looks like we got JSON, headers, cookies, raw, and status code. So let's go back to this JS SDK and back to client and check out our HTTP send to make sure it's doing the right thing. So we have response here. And then, yeah, let's look up the JSVM docs here. So HTTP send looks like it's not a function. It's just JSON like that. Let's see how that works. Oh, and because the JSVM SDK changed, we want to see if we can trigger a PocketPages rebuild here. So we'll just go rebuild like that. Now, if that went right, we should have one called HTTP send. And yes, JSON is not a function call this time. So I'm imagining that this will work better for us. Let's try refreshing the page again to see if we get something different. So this time we got methods. Yeah, we got OTP, password, MFA, and OAuth. So here we're going to say if methods.password enabled, then do this one called password login. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, and we don't need a link down there. Good. So we have a password login. So now in here where it says sign in user with password, we do kind of need a helper function because we've got to save the auth token to a cookie. So I think this one still is important. Sign in user with password. But we're going to refer back to the PocketBased docs here, auth with password. PB collection, users, auth with password. Let's use this instead. So here we'll go global API, collection users, auth with password. Let's see what kind of auth data we get back. I have a feeling this is going to blow up because local storage is not going to work, but let's go take a look at it right here. Local auth store is using, maybe this is okay. What's storage fallback? Oh, it's just an in-memory key. Oh, this will probably work then. All right, let's test this. So we will try logging in here. Fully expected something more than that. Interesting. API collections users auth with password. It says file not found. File not found. Whoa, it worked. So I had forgotten that I commented out some of these for testing the method headers and body of the HTTP send. So let's clean this up and commit it. After a little work and experimentation, I have successfully used the PocketBase JS SDK server side to do user registration and logins. So watch this. I can log in. I can do an anonymous login. You see, and it creates an anonymous email address. You can see a bunch of those anonymous email addresses in here already. I can log out. I can register as a new user. I can go to my account. The only thing I haven't implemented yet is change email address. And I also want in this login to implement OAuth, but I can save those for another time. So let's review the code and release this feature so that we can help Lindsay out. So here's a quick walkthrough. We've added a couple methods to the global API. We've added create user and create anonymous user. You can see that both of these use the PocketBase SDK to create users. The only difference is the anonymous user creation uses a fake email address. This is a bit of a placeholder until I understand more about how guest users should be created, but it's enough to get us started now. And then finally, we link to the PocketBase SDK right here, and it even uses the host config. So if you happen to be running on a non-standard port or something like that, right here where PocketPages reads config.js, we have a new host variable that defaults to localhost 8090. So those are the three new global functions. And then we have a couple functions in the new middleware. We have register with password, which will register and sign in with a password. We have sign in with password, sign in anonymously, sign out, and sign in with token. Sign in with token is the one that sets the PB auth token. So all of these taken together make it very easy to create accounts server side. Let's jump in and make some documentation for this. Let's see how smart Cloud can be. I've asked it to update the global API with create user and create anonymous user, and it sure did. Wow, this is fantastic. Cloud did a really good job here. On all three of these, I'm going to accept everything. Unbelievable. That was really good. Now I want to tell it in global API, we have added PB, which is a PocketBase JS SDK adapted for the JSVM. This SDK lives at that URL and has removed all async in favor of synchronous functions, which are otherwise API compatible with the normal JS SDK found at, let's copy this link. Make sure the user has links to both. PB returns a PocketBase client class, client object that is already configured to talk to a local PocketBase instance. You can adjust the host field in config.js if you need to customize this. Make a note that while this is technically less efficient than using the JSVM directly, the PocketBase REST API is much more robust and affords easy and popular and well-documented access to many PocketBase features. And you can use the same JS nomen on the front end and back end to do many tasks that would otherwise be difficult to accomplish using the raw JSVM API. Let's see what it can do with this. See what Cloud comes up with. Yeah, global API. That looks good. In index, it added PocketBase client, PocketBase JS SDK client. I like that. Great. And then PB, let's see what it wrote. So PB is the PocketBase client. This function returns a configured PocketBase client instance that is ready to communicate with your PocketBase server directly in the JSVM. Client is automatically configured. Okay. The client uses a special JSVM-compatible version of the PocketBase JS SDK that provides synchronous methods instead of async await benefits. While using the raw JSVM API might be slightly more efficient, the PocketBase REST API via the SDK offers several advantages: well-documented and widely used API surface, consistent API between front-end and back-end code, access to high-level features not easily available in the raw JSVM, familiar JavaScript patterns and nomenclatures, rich ecosystem of examples and community support. Yeah, perfect. Exactly. Example usage. Right. Yeah, cool. Yeah, right. Right. Oh man, Cloud, you're doing great. Real-time features are not available, right? Async auth storage not supported. The client is cached after the first initialization. Dude, Cloud, kicking ass and taking names. Good job, Cloud. All right, so we have added some documentation for all of this. Let's whip this up, and then we're going to, there's more we need to do in here. We need to document the starter kit. And where do we document those starter kits? Right here. So with Cloud, I want to say I've added a new starter kit in auth. Please review it and add it to the list here. Let's see if Cloud can do this. Okay, auth. This kit demonstrates multi-page app authentication using PocketPages. It includes registration, Linux PocketPages, new app. Yeah. Now that I see it, all the installation commands are wrong. Please refer to README. Let's go in minimal and update all current. See how it does here. Starter minimal. Yep, I like it. Daisy UI. Yep. HTMX. Yep. Auth. Yep. Okay, let's accept all that. We like it. I'm noticing that MVP is not present. Please add it. So here again, we're going to be cherry picking a little bit. Oh, I guess it is in there. That's good. That's fine. Okay, cool. So we've updated it with the starter kit as well. So we'll whip that. And now we're going to go back to main and we're going to all this stuff here. So merge into current branch, squash commits. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's undo that last commit. Yeah, undo that merge commit. Oh, maybe I messed this up. Let's try git reset hardhead. So we want this merge commit, get reset hard there. All right, that got us back to where we meant to be. All right, now I'm going to merge into current branch, squash commit with no merge, and let's see what we're dealing with here. Right, one of the things we did was change the sort order in this, and I believe if we take those two out, I can commit this table of contents. Yeah, let's do that. So I'll say docs toc sort order. We'll commit that one thing. Now we'll go into request here. This was a little enhancement that we did where we changed the capitalization of the request methods. So let's go in here and fix this. It was all three of these. And we're going to go change set. It's a patch. Enhance capitalize request method names. All right. We'll add that change set in here. That's an enhancement. All right. I'm looking for other changes that are not related to the stuff we did. Now, register with password, sign in with password, sign in anonymously, sign out, sign in with token. Where are all of those documented? Did we forget to do those? I think we did. So let's pull up Cloud again here. And let's say in middleware handler, have added new sign in, sign out functions. Please update, and API accordingly. Let's let it work on that. Yeah, we missed some documentation here for sure. So let's take a look at TOC sign in with password, sign in with token, sign in anonymously, sign out, and register with password. Yes, I accept those changes. Where is the rest of this? It did not do well with the rest of these. Yep, hold on here. Context API. So let's create these files. Cloud tried, but it's just not happening. Register with password. Okay. Please author register with password. Note that this both creates a user and signs in the user via cookie. I think Cloud will be able to handle this a little better. And I'm going to say refer to for code samples. Sign in with password. Yes. Sign in with token. Okay, and sign out. See what it does for sign out. Signs out by, request, okay, sign out. Note that this will clear the cookie, but will not sign out the PocketBased JS SDK client if used on the front end, because that one uses local storage to store its JWT separately. If you're using that client, you'll need to sign out separately from the front end and call a logout endpoint or clear the cookie from the front end. Yeah, let's see how it updates that. This function only clears the server-side cookie. If you're using it, you'll have to handle authentication state separately. The SDK uses local storage, which isn't affected by cookie changes. Consider implementing a complete logout that handles both. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Okay, sign in with token. Now sign in with token. On sign in with token, I want it to note that, please note that this function sets PB auth cookie from the server side. It is the only function that sets the cookie. Although the other sign-in methods call this? Let's see what it says. Cool. I like that. Okay. Sign in with password. I liked that. Sign in anonymously. Please document sign in. We haven't done that one yet. Okay. Register with password. Create a new user account and automatically signs them in by setting an authentication cookie. Yeah. It does do all that. That is true. Okay, sign in anonymously, creates a new anonymous account and automatically signs in. This is useful for allowing users to try your application before creating a full account. Yeah, good. Okay, I like all of that. All right, so now we've documented all those methods. That's good. Cool. That was a lot of documentation that I didn't remember to do. All of this looks good. All of this looks good. All of this looks good. I think we're ready to commit this feature. So this is a major feature. So I'm going to bump it here. So change set. This is I'm going to say feature MPA authentication methods and docs. Yeah, that's going to go right in here, and it's going to go feature MPA auth methods and docs. And we're going to commit this whole thing right here. Then we're going to go change set version. Check out this change log. So this is version 12. I like it. Beautiful. Version 12, v0.12.0. Let's commit that and let's go change set publish. So that's gonna tag this. There we go. We're gonna sync the changes. Perfect. So I'm gonna now find this starter kit here and get the remote file URL, and then I'm gonna talk to this guy and say, I just released version 0.12.0, has authentication, cookies, headers. There is a starter kit to show you how everything works at Blip. Please give it a try. It's all pretty fresh, but it was working in early testing. Cheers. Let me know if you have any other questions. So cool. I helped out this guy and also released PocketPages version 12, which is amazing. We've got new stuff here. Why isn't the table of contents updated? Oh, because FioDev was not running. FioDev. Okay, and this was bun run what? Bun run watch? What happened to the global API? Let's see if we can merge this in again. It's probably going to have conflicts, but that's okay. Right, this is the part that was missing anyway. PB, create user. Yeah, I need those. Okay, so I'm gonna say docs update TOC with global functions. Yep, there we go. Now the docs are what I thought. Yeah, user management functions. Create user, create anonymous user. Cool, right. Sign in with password. Yes. Sign in with token, sign in anonymously, sign out, register with password. Okay, I like it. I like it. All right, guys, I think we're gonna leave it here for today. It's late and I feel very accomplished.